Welcome
Live. Hello.
live here at PropCoach headquarters. How is everybody today?
Yep. Happy Friday, everybody.
Whoa, it's again Friday. Eh? How fast did this week go, Alex?
Yeah, I don't know. It went really quick. We just did that live like last week, right? Like just a week ago.
Yeah, that's a week. Yeah,
Yeah,
we did
it's
it
so
last
fast.
week. Now
It
we're
felt
back.
so- it
We're
felt like
back.
yesterday.
Yeah, a lot of things
Like
happened.
yesterday.
Is my hair okay? You think my hair is okay?
Maybe you need a bit of a haircut. Me too, actually.
Yeah.
She's getting
That's
better.
also the thing, when you get very busy, right? Then you don't get time for haircuts anymore. Right?
Yeah.
You guys can see it. No, it's okay. It's okay. So, Alex, how was your week?
My week was interesting. I can't remember what I did this week. No, that's not true. Yeah, it was a very, very interesting week, I think. We had a number of things to attend to. A lot of thinking. Yeah. I think it's a good week, I think, moving forward, right? I don't know, what do you think?
Pretty good week, yeah. A lot of execution. We did a lot of trainings this week. We had Monday training, Tuesday training, Wednesday training. Yesterday we had trainings. So we are like getting ahead all the time, making sure we execute. But if you have noticed, over the past week we also have been sharing a lot of content, with you guys, and we had one theme throughout the week that is actually very let put it this way, it's kind of a life and death situation in your real estate career, that if you do this in your business, we know based on our experience that you will survive. But if you don't do it, then it's going to be very hard to survive in this business. But it's not an easy thing. The theme throughout the week was...
What? There was meant to be an underlying theme to that. What was a question? So, okay, I was trying to be funny there, but I guess that
is
was
good.
so funny, huh?
Yeah, I thought you really
Yeah, I
got
guess, yeah.
hanged there. Alex can go
Like,
into
we
this.
got-
Alex can go into this deep acting mode. That he's like, and then everybody's like, huh?
Like, what's going on?
Okay, no,
Well,
wasn't
the
good
theme
one,
is
good one.
asking questions, right? It's all about the power of asking questions. Yeah. So I think like earlier this week, we had a quick video on Monday. We also had another YouTube video on Wednesday, which was released, and it all revolved around asking questions, right?
Correct.
And I think over those couple of videos, we've also mentioned a couple of times that like what Coach Taco and myself have found in Malaysia is that a lot of people struggle with asking questions.
True.
Right? Struggle asking questions. We first discovered it, I think, when we were conducting like workshops, right?
Yeah.
In the beginning, we thought like, oh, no questions? Oh, wow, okay. I think they all got our content pretty well, Got our content pretty well, but over time we follow up with them, and then we realize that they don't understand a lot of stuff. They didn't understand a lot of things.
Yeah, true.
You find the same things?
Oh yeah, so much. So Alex, so right in this one that,
Mm.
like you would assume, naturally speaking, that people would understand the power of questions, right? But what we found in the market is that people have a very tough time asking questions. A really tough time. They have a tough time just getting into the comfort zone of asking questions. That's the first one, right? Just permitting yourself and giving yourself the confidence to ask those questions. And then the second one is they don't know what questions to ask. They're like, which questions should I start with? Where should these next questions go? And then moving forward to actually closing questions. Because why are questions also important? Because actually, if you look at the definition of closing, it's basically simple as asking a series of questions that will uplift the desire of your client to give them the confidence to make a decision to buy or sell to buy your product or your service. Yeah, so you have to create that confidence in your client. But where does it all start with? Asking a series of questions. So you want to close more deals, you need to be able to ask a series of questions. And if you don't know what questions, or you're not comfortable with asking questions, how are you going to close a deal, Alex?
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly it. I used to struggle big time with that. Like, remember when I was, first started selling real estate. I don't know about what you guys think. Those of you who are watching, it's, wanted to ask questions before, these thoughts always ran through my mind. Oh, I think I better not ask that. It's rude. It's invading somebody's privacy. That's too private. I'm going too deep. And it was even something as simple as asking, like, oh, what do you do for a living? I haven't felt, even for that kind of question, I felt like, I hesitated in asking, right? Maybe, and then what I realized was then, I think what a big part of that was for me was, because when I first started selling real estate, all the prospective clients I dealt with were, of course, much, much older.
Yeah.
Right? They were like in their 40s, 50s, 60s, that was what I got, when I was selling the luxury real estate.
Yes.
Before, right? So I had all these like little thoughts in my head, right? Which was very strange, right? And it held me back for the longest time, and that's how I ended up becoming a tour guide. I just figured, okay, you know what? I might as well just talk since I can't, ask questions, right? Or I don't know how to ask questions.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether you guys relate to that, but I feel that maybe a lot of you probably relate to that, right? So, but that's interesting, right? So which also makes me think of a question, right? Like, what about you, Taco? When you first started in the Caribbean, right? What were your thoughts when it came to questions? Because I think maybe like the East and the West, we talk about it. I think you've got different ways of thinking. How did it work for you? Like when you first started, sales, real estate.
A very good question, Alex. Well, first of all, it is true what Alex says. As you can see, handsome Asian guy,
handsome
weird Quilo guy, right?
Weird
Handsome Asian, weird Quilo. So between us, we also have like, we have no culture clash. We try to connect the cultures together to see what is the best fit, But yes, it's true, in Asian countries, questions and asking questions is not a natural thing. Although in the West, especially in Europe, asking questions is a very normal thing. Even asking questions just to strangers on the street is a very normal thing. We have been trained, and not by a teacher or by a trainer, no, by our parents, that in the event that you don't know what's going on, or you are confused, or you need to gather information, the only possible way to do that is by asking a question, right? And even that is in the schooling system, that teachers motivate the children in class to basically ask a question, like hey, wow. They tell you as a kid, Alex will tell the Asian version, like how that goes in schools here, but let me tell you the European way is that if you fail for a test, or if you as a child give the assumption to a teacher that you don't get it, they will get mad at you, not for not knowing it, but not for asking the question. They will tell you straight in your face, like, well, if you don't know the answer, you should have asked, right? And that's how we are being pushed into society of, listen, like, it's not a problem if you don't know the information. It's not a problem if you're confused about the information, but you need to give yourself permission to ask. So I think that the West has a more natural ability to ask questions because we have been giving that from very young, and even in my personal case, right, for me personally, and this is different from parent to parent, like if I look back to my father was extremely heavy on speaking up. Like, speak up. If you don't know, speak up. You got to speak up. If you don't speak up, you live in a free country, Taco. You need to speak up. That means that if you don't agree with something, or if you want to know something more, if you need to push forward on something, you got to speak up and you got to start asking questions. If you feel that that person is not right, go to him, speak up, start asking questions, and validate with your questions if what that person is telling you is the right thing or is the wrong thing. So you see, and now I understand because I have this beautiful partner here next to me. He's telling me that in Asian that's a completely different deal. Is that true, Alex?
Yeah, it is. And I'm glad, I'm glad you brought it up, about speaking up, right? Because that was the next thing too, right? Asking questions is one fine detail. Speaking up is another thing too. And in schools, and when I was in school, and I'm sure a lot of you also Malaysians watching this as well. I'm pretty sure you remember in school, right? Whenever you spoke up, teacher tell you shh, keep quiet, and then we were always punished for making any noise, right? And it doesn't help too, when our parents would also tell us, right, never talk back to elders and stuff like that, and we literally take that as a blanket across, all kinds of, all people, right? Don't talk back to elders. But the thing about in business too, you're gonna meet people from all walks of life, right? And especially in real estate.
Yeah.
So, and usually it's older people who have that cash, and I mean, that's a bit of a blanket thing to say as well, but the thing is you meet all kinds of people. So that's speaking up as one thing as well, and then we even get in schools too, I share this experience all the time, right? And I remember I was 16, I was learning about the equation y equals to mx plus c. I remember it very, very clearly, right? My teacher, her name was, I'll just say her name anyway, she's a cool teacher, I mean she's a cute teacher, right? Mrs. Lee, right? She had a very small frame, gray hair, and she had always had like very small, like very like a little mini chili putty, And I remember asking her, teacher, what is that M? What is that? She said, oh, it's just that. And then I asked, why? It's just that. Why? It's just like that. I asked again, why? She said, you know what, just shut up. Just listen, And I was, oh, okay, right. And, how I, just extend the story a little bit, right? Just extending it into like university, right?
Good.
Right? What I think I first started questioning all this when I got into uni again, right?
Yep.
Because I remember when I got into uni, right? My first semester, my first year, I do all kinds of funny ass subjects. I did democracy, I did knowing nature, I did I don't know. These are actual names of the subjects.
Knowing nature.
Yeah.
Knowing nature.
Yes.
That was the name of the class. Knowing nature.
I don't know. I didn't know what I was reading. I really did. I had no idea what I was reading. Philosophy subjects, right? And when I got into it, and then fine, you read materials, but when you go into the tutorials, right?
Mm-hmm.
I went in there. And I was the only like Malaysian guy. And I was looking around all my Australian, classmates, and then they were saying. And they were giving these answers like, oh, knowing nature, it's about looking at nature from a different, I can't remember what they said, right? But all I remember thinking to myself was, holy cow, how did they even like think of something like that, right? Now that, I know it sounds a bit unrelated, but that thing just made me think more. I was like, how,
Yeah.
Right? But then now when I reflect back on the schooling system that we grew up in, like in Malaysians at least, right? We were not required to think. All we did was memorize, don't ask questions, just memorize, don't process it, just memorize.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's how I started eventually questioning,
So interesting.
why.
So interesting.
Yeah.
Wow, it's a great story. If you're watching and you're just tuning in, we're talking about asking questions, in your professional career, why it's important, how to move forward. I see a few people are watching, if you're looking, hey, say hi to us. We're happy that you're here. Just leave a little comment, say hi, Alex and Taco.
Hello.
And we would be so happy to say hi back, right? Anthony, hey, how are you? I hope you're doing well.
Yep.
Everything is going well. We're talking about asking questions, and we just discussed a little bit about the cultures from the West and the East, how comfortable we are in asking questions. And now let's go a little bit back to the real estate business, right? Because asking questions in real estate is so important. Actually, there's multiple types of questions, but there's actually two categories, right? One, very simple, the kind of get to know the person questions. Right? Get to know your client questions.
Icebreakers.
Who are you? Where are you from? You have a family. Are you single? Are you alone? Very simple questions just to get to know the person. We call these connective questions. You're connecting with somebody through questions. It's very important. Now, why is that also important? That's also a key. Let me ask you something, right? Based on how the questions are being asked. If Alex is asking me a bunch of questions as a professional agent, I'm the client, he's asking me questions, naturally, I will feel that Alex has an interest in me. Would you agree?
I would agree.
Yeah, right?
I would agree.
He is asking me questions, I'm answering them, he has a certain amount of interest in me. What is important, how you connect with that buyer or seller, right? So the first thing is get to know questions, right?
Yeah.
And then what I like to call the second part, the second type of question is the validation questions. You validate the interest of your client. So let me understand this, Mr. Client, or Mrs. Client, of course. you are looking for, is that true? Yes? Or validation questions like, you have asked before, right? So like, what are you looking for in a property? And then the validation question could be something like, oh, so if you would to find a property with 2 bedrooms with a square feet, space of this and this square feet, right? Then that would be something you would be interested in. Yes? Those are validation questions. And of course, a third type, but that comes a little bit further, but that's not where I want you to start, are basically closing questions. That comes a little bit later. But, I think it's important for you to understand that if you want to do those questions, right, for you, it's important to understand what questions to ask.
Yeah.
Do you have those questions prepared?
Have a list.
Do you have a list? So here, Alex and I are here today to give you, of course, a piece of advice and to maybe even give you a little bit of an assignment, if we can, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, just list down, let's say, 20 get-to-know questions and 20 validation questions.
Yeah.
What is it that you potentially can ask to any client?
Yeah.
Or not, Alex?
Yeah. And you know what? There's plenty on Google. Plenty. Go and take your pick, and find something that suits your style, right? And but I also like to add on a couple of things, right?
Yeah.
So what Taco just mentioned, have a list of questions, right? But just to give you guys a little bit of a clearer picture as well, when you ask questions, how you deliver is something that's also an important part of it.
Yes.
If you notice how Taco was saying, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Klein, and you can see from his body language, even though he was just giving an example, but the way from how he asked it, right? It plays an important factor as well, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to like, hey, so you like
what?
You like this property?
I think so. Maybe. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, that would be kind of weird, right? I mean, if we.
Yeah, but it happens. It happens a lot.
It happens, right?
When I came to Malaysia, I looked at my first property. An agent came to me, and then I looked around. And you have to understand, I was a foreigner. I didn't understand Malaysian culture. So I went through the property. He left me alone. Didn't ask me any questions. And then all the way at the end, after walking through the whole apartment, the agent came to me and he asked, "So how?"
Really?
Yeah. So how? So how what?
That's
Yeah. So how? And I now know after 3 years that so how is a cultural statement of so what are we going to do from here onwards, right? Now I understand, right? And of course, but like so how? So I would like how what do you mean how so how so how late or how are we how what and again that gives a little bit of an example like on clarity of questions, right? Questions it's such a powerful tool in your business that you cannot take lightly, and I'm not saying that you cannot take those cultural things with you, because those are actually very important, also very fun. But at the end, it's like, how can you formulate that question with the right tone of voice and with the right body language that the client can see that you are fully engaged and interested in helping them to make that deal? Yeah. Can you do that?
Absolutely. It's actually if we simplify it for you, right? It's 2 things, right? Just having a list of questions and knowing how to deliver it in a manner that is well received by the other.
True.
Right? It's just gotta get these 2 right, and you're pretty much all set.
You're all set. You're all set.
Pretty much all set.
It's all. But have that list ready. If we can give really that one big piece of advice is have that list of questions ready. Practice them. Use them. Do some role play with maybe some colleagues. See how it's being received. Even maybe look into a mirror or something like that. Hey, Ivan.
What's
hey,
up,
Ivan. How are you, man?
Hey, long time, Ivan.
Hey, I saw that Ivan is going for Iron Man. He wants to be an Iron Man.
What? He's going a whole new level.
He's dropping down on the kgs and he's going full Arnold Schwarzenegger now.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah, he's going full like.
Very nice, Ivan.
Should talk to Alex, man. He can help you a little bit there.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah,
sort of.
I don't know. Iron Man next level.
Okay, Ivan, good to see you. Hope to see you soon again.
Yeah.
But moving forward on this part is all about, of course, asking questions. Have that list of those questions that you want to ask. and make sure that you practice them and that you know them for every single meeting, because then you get a lot of you will get a lot of feedback from your clients. You get the information you want, and that information will help you actually to go the right direction and actually help you close the deal.
Absolutely.
Very simple.
Yeah, and it will come. The thing about questions, don't worry about having it the first few times, because after a while, it will just come it'll be at your fingertips, right?
Yeah.
And then you will just naturally be able to ask, and it'll be very, very natural.
Yeah.
Right. Tiago, one last thing. One thing, or is it last thing? Unless you got a couple more points to add.
No. Let's do the last thing, because we don't want to take too much of your time.
Right? But there's this one thing, because I also feel that maybe some of you might want to see a little bit more into the future as to what would happen if you started asking questions, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here's a question, reflecting on, let's say, both of us, right? If I ask you this, right? From the first day that you started, when you got into sales, real estate sales, right, until today, right? What was it like? Let's say out of 10 people, out of 100 people, right? When you ask questions, right? Did anything bad return? Did anything bad come back, or did somebody tell you no, you're being rude? You shouldn't tell me this. No, you shouldn't ask me this. Has anybody ever responded to you like that?
No, absolutely not.
No, right?
No.
So technically, that's like a 0%, or more in terms of asking questions, it's a 100% success rate in terms of getting information.
Yeah.
Without any conflict.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm also going to reflect back on my experience, although I think I probably have less compared to Taco when it comes to asking questions, because I think I broke out of that maybe about 3 years, 4 years ago, right? And 0 too. I haven't gotten anybody who said to me that question you're asking is too much. You shouldn't be asking that. I haven't. I also haven't.
Oh. No, I think it's like question asking, it's a very normal thing.
Yeah.
And I actually truly believe that if you sit down with clients and you ask a series of questions, a number of questions, that actually your clients will feel connected to you, and they feel like that you're engaged with them and show a certain amount of interest to really help them. Right? If you imagine, imagine this. That's just one more quick example, right? Hey, Alvin, hope you're doing well, man.
Hey, Alvin.
Hey. The thing is that if you look at, let's say we use this example sometimes. If you go to a doctor, right? Yeah, you go to a doctor and you go sit and you have a problem with your knee. You go to a doctor and the doctor comes there, and the doctor comes into the room and the doctor says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm so late. Listen, I'm a very professional doctor. I have this degree, and this is, by the way, this is a great clinic. The clinic is so amazing, and we do so many great things for our patients, and our patients are always so happy. Oh, and by the way, what is so great about this clinic also is that we have a few specials and things like that. And you know what the great thing is also about this clinic is that we as a clinic are the number 5 in the country and the number 200 in the world and things like that. Now, by the way, I'm so sorry to take too much of your time. I will write you a prescription medicine right now. Go to the pharmacy, go get it, and good luck to you, and let me know how it worked, right? And then the doctor goes again. You see, the doctor didn't ask any questions. Great acting, Alex.
Sorry. Yeah, that was just... Okay. Anyway, yeah.
And the Oscar goes to...
Adding effect.
Not to Alex.
Yeah.
No, but let's say the doctor just doesn't ask those questions. He doesn't ask, hey, where's the pain? Where does it come from? How long do you have it? Is a deep pain or a light outside of pain? They ask those questions very simply just to understand and have a certain amount of interest in the patient to understand what is the real issue here. Where's it coming from? And then they know how to advise to go to take you to further. And yes, if you tell me doctors are not salespeople, think about that again. What is one of the biggest industries in the world? Is the pharmaceutical industry. You know how much money the pharmaceutical industry makes?
Big.
A whole lot more than the real estate industry. I can tell you that one.
Big time.
I can tell you that one. So at the end of the day, understand very good that yes, also medicine and medic is a sales business, but they know how to play the game of asking questions. They know how to play that game. So you, as a professional, as a sales professional, you should go into that same game. Become a doctor for your patients, help them to buy and sell real estate, but understand first what is it that they want, what is it that they need, How do they want to get there? What are they struggling with? What are their beliefs? What are their limited beliefs? How can you help them overcome them? What are their values? And more specifically, what is that one thing that they want from you as a service? How can you as an agent stand out? Yes? And I used to ask this question, very strong question. I was told at one of the last questions after my first meeting, I always ask my question, Mr. and Mrs. Client, what is one thing that you're expecting from me that you have not seen with any agent yet? What is one thing that you're expecting from me that you have not seen with any agent yet? And you know what they would tell you? The truth. They would tell you the truth. They will give you on a silver platter, they will give you the answer and say, you know what I'm expecting, you know what, I've been a little bit disappointed with the market, I've been disappointed with this and this and this. I expect my agent to be this. Cool. Now I know. They just gave it to me. Right? So I know for this client, I have to make sure that, you know, I have to follow up every 3 days because that's what they're expecting from me. Now I'm the best agent in the world.
Was that the number one thing that people used to say to you?
Yeah.
Like
no, not to say to me.
I mean, like, what, when you ask that question,
Yeah,
like, what
yeah.
do they, like?
One of the most answers is that clients out there don't feel engaged with their agent. Their agent comes in, they do a presentation, they sign somebody up, and they don't hear from the agent again.
Gold nuggets.
Gold nuggets.
Take it, and put it in your pocket.
Put it in your pocket and use it.
Swallow it.
Use it. No, the key to everything in real estate and in any sales business is follow up. Even if you don't have anything to say based on moving forward, but just an update, just that connection, just that engagement with your client is enough to stay close to them and take them moving forward in that sales process. And it always goes with questions. Wow, that was quite some valuable stuff there, Alex.
Yeah,
what do you think?
I think I really like this one. I hope you guys enjoyed this one too.
Oh,
yeah, feels like, I don't know, I feel like it's good today. I feel good today.
I feel good today. I also
Good
feel
today
good
too,
I
yeah.
feel good today. A good Friday. Hey guys, if you have a lot of meetings, a lot of viewings, a lot of sessions this weekend, good
Yep.
luck to you. Close some deals. You can do it.
Yep.
Do it through asking a series of questions like we
That's
talked
right.
today.
That's
Rewatch
right.
this video over
That's
again
right.
if you need to, you know, to understand.
That's right.
But either go to our website or go to our YouTube page because there's a lot of stuff about questions there also. We're wishing you the best of luck. And
Absolutely.
one more thing. PropCoach, University of Real Estate, Pure. If you are not on our platform yet, if you're not there yet, go there. It's free. Online training, scripts, templates, everything you need for your business is there, and we keep upgrading it every single time. Alex and I are taking videos every week. We're putting it in there. It's free. It's for you to pick up. If you want to become a professional and you want to be a rock star in real estate, you should go get there right now and just ask also all your friends to get on there because that's where the juicy stuff is.
Absolutely. All right, everybody.
Some last words from Alexander C.
Well, everybody, you know, we talked a lot about questions, and we also understand that, you know, sometimes, you know, stepping outside your comfort zone or doing something you've never done before is uncomfortable.
True that.
Right? It's uncomfortable. But, you know, as we have shared today as well, you know, you're not alone. You know, in fact, you know, not saying that we're boasting about ourselves, but talking about myself, we've actually gone through that process, and, you know, we said it, right? In all the years that we've asked questions, there has nothing bad has actually come out of it.
Nope.
In fact, only good has come out of it.
True.
Right? So everybody, you know what? Tomorrow, this weekend, that's your perfect testing playground. Not a testing playground, it's your playground. Make sure you go do it. Just ask some questions. And you know what? There's a saying, right? On the other side of your greatest fear is greatness.
Wow.
Have a good one, people.
Have a good one. Bye, guys.